Hi everyone, so for today's example we're going to be looking at how we can set up a really simple example but it's going to help you with any type of React projects that you have. So here we got app bar, it's going to be reusable on different pages. So you can see here we're on localhost 3000 for now. We go to about and then we go to about page. We have this reusable title here which is coming from the home page, and it's also on the settings as well. And we're going to have different components so we could see different information. And then here we're going to have some language translation. So we're going to go between English and French. And we're going to be using the standards known as I18N. And here we have some sort of counter. We're going to have 3 buttons, and you can see here the count will show where it's starting at. We're going to use utils in order to help us fix the numbers to a specific decimal point. And then we're also going to be looking at how we can use hooks in order to reuse these functions that are attached to the buttons here, or they're also known as methods, that we could, whenever we call this whichever button, it's going to be able to reuse that method if we put it on any other page as well. And of course, we're going to be looking at routing, which is right here. You could see when we move to different pages for about and also settings. And also, while we're going through this, we're going to also see how we could set up a simple unit test to add to our application. Okay, let's get started. So we're just going to navigate to our desktop here, and then what we're going to do is we're going to create a brand new project. So I'll say npx create React app, and let's just call it master app, and then we'll have some sort of template set up for us, and we'll put TypeScript into it. Now what we'll do is we're just going to drag and drop this folder over once it's done installing. And we can see here that we got our basic application. I'm just going to open up the terminal, and I'm just going to do npm start so we could see what it looks like right now. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to go into the src folder here, and let's take a look. We'll go into the app.tsx, and I will be using a use state eventually, so I'll keep that there for now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean out this return here, and I'm just going to add empty brackets instead because I'm going to start from scratch. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to create a layout. So I'm going to, at the root of my src, I'll make a layout.tsx. And in the layout.tsx, I'm just going to make something that is reusable. So I'm going to import React, and I'm also going to set up an app bar, and then I'm going to set up some code here. So right here we're just going to have the code for just the general layout of the app bar always being at the top. It's just like any menu or something that's always at the top of the website, and then everything else in between the main is the actual content. We could make a footer as well under the main, but we don't need to do that right now. I'll just show you how to do that with the app bar component. So in order to do that, we're going to have to make a folder in the src, and I'm going to make it underscore components, and I'm going to call this. So the reason I put underscore is because that kind of helps it move up in the ranking of the folder structure, and it just puts it at the top, but then there are some issues with it as well, which makes it harder to use in some areas. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put the app bar at the root of the folder. So at inside the src folder, not components, I'll make a app bar.tsx. And this app bar, this is where, you know, you can make any type of menu you want. Maybe I'll just call it menu, right? And you can edit this however you like to. And what I'm going to be doing now is in my layout. So we got that app bar, and let me try again here. And if I call it app bar, then maybe I'll just call it menu. There we go. So menu dot / and I'm just going to rename that as well to menu. There we go. Just so everything matches. Dot / menu. There we go. And I'll make this menu instead. I think that just makes more sense because it's always going to be at the top. And now in my actual application, we are going to, we could leave these as empty brackets around there, or we could also do something like layout. So it's coming from the layout right here, and this is, so if this is called the layout, let's go over here. Okay, and it's missing some kind of properties right now. So let's take a look here. If I go to layout and I take a look at the code, okay, everything looks okay. Maybe it does need this, and then layout. Okay, let's see, does that cause the error to go away? Property, children, missing type, React node. Let's see, quick fix, add missing attribute. Very interesting. Don't think we do need that. Is maybe because I edited it at the root, I'm just gonna end it and I'm gonna restart it just to see. Okay, there we go. So I don't think it was actual error, it's just you have to have something in between the layout. That's the only thing. You just need some sort of text in between those two, the opening and the closing tag. And what I'm gonna do, I can show you how to make components. So let's create some sort of banner or something. So let's make a banner here. So in the components folder, I'll make a banner.tsx and a new file inside there, index.tsx. I'll also make one more folder here so it's nicely laid out because we're going to use it anyways later, and it's going to be card. I'm just going to call it card, and I'll make it here index.tsx. Okay, so in the banner itself, we're going to have to write some code here. I'm just gonna make a really simple function, nothing special, just saying banner, and then another one here for the card, really simple, just say card. Okay, and let's take a look right here. If we go to the app, right now nothing's inside. I'll show you what it looks like online. So right here, you can see what we have is we have the menu here. It's pretty much a component of the menu which can be reused on any other page, and it will be reused because it's part of the layout, and the layout is reusing wherever the content is on any of the pages. And right now we have nothing, so it's just saying no content available. And the reason why it's saying no content available is because here in the layout, it's actually going to be counting if there's any type of information inside, any content, actual content, and if there is nothing, so if there is something, if it's greater than 0, the length, that means we can display the children, but if not, we're just going to have that message, no content available. And now we can start adding more to our application. I'm going to fix this layout of the app. I'm going to put the export default function here at the top. I just like it all to be one line. I don't like it when it's separate lines. It's up to you, whatever you want to do. But I'm just going to make the component we have the banner component, so I'm going to import the banner component at the top of the page. And it doesn't like it when I paste links in, so components, banner. Okay, and then I'll have my banner self-closing tag. Perfect. And let me check online here. Here we can see that other error message disappeared, and we can see the banner. So now let's see how we could change to different pages and see these reusable components. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the link with React Router DOM. So if I at the top import link from React Router DOM, and I'm going to have to install it. So let me find the installation. We're going to be using npm install React Router DOM. I'm just going to end this. It's Control-C on your Windows computer, and then npm install React Router DOM. And hopefully that will get rid of that error right there for linking. Okay, so now we could see here that the red error went away, and just here, so we have it in the documentation, installations. I'm just writing it here in the Word document so we can keep track of it. And what I'm going to be doing now is I'm just going to link to other pages, and the pages we're actually going to be setting up as routes. So we're going to be setting up another folder. So in the src folder, we're going to make a new folder, and we're going to put it in round brackets, and we're going to call it routes. The reason why we want to put round brackets here is because then the name of the folder will not be in the URL pathway, and I will make a folder here. It's going to be called about, and then here I could just make it page.tsx, and then I'm going to make another route inside here, so it'll be for settings, and then here new file page.tsx. So in the about page, I'm just going to make a very simple page, and I'll just make sure I put the right areas. So I'm going to do ... / to go out of the about page, then have to go back again to get to the root, and then I'm going to go into the components, and then I'm going to take the card. So we got banner.tsx and card. Let me just see how. Okay, this should be called, the folder should just be banner. Okay, so we don't want to make that mistake there. And in the app.tsx, okay, good. It got fixed here too. So we got the banner set up for us, and we're going to go back to the routes. We got the page for about. We got our layout. It's going to use the same layout for the about page, so we're using those brackets for layout. And then we have our title here. We could, I guess, make this H1 tag just so we have the titles a little bit bigger. And then we go to our settings, and in our settings page, same, I'll make it super simple. Okay, and then good, we got our layout again. So we got settings, that'll be H1 as well. Usually for SEO purposes, you want only one H1 tag per page. So I'll just do that here. And in my app.tsx now, what I could do is I'm going to set up the link. So we've imported the link from the React Router DOM. And here, what I'm going to do is in between the div, I will be setting up the link. And I'll just put about. And then I'll put here the to /about, and then I'll make another one, and it'll be for settings. There we go. So we got our settings here and our about. Let's run this application again, and let's take a look to see if it works. Alright, so it looks like we have some sort of error, so let's take a look to see how we could fix this. Oh yeah, so the reason why we get that is because we forgot a very important part. I totally forgot about setting up the route in the actual index.tsx area here, because this is the initial setup of how things will be run. So I need to actually import a bunch of things here. So what we're going to do under report web vitals, I'm going to import a few things here. So we're going to add the about settings page and some imports for different routes from React Router DOM. And here in the render area, we're going to have to set up our router. So router app, what I'm going to do is actually set up the pages instead. And you can see here we got a router with routes wrapped around the actual route. Route is individual pages. Here's the app, what it initially starts with. And then here is the about page using the about component or the about function or method that we set up. And then here's our settings. It'll be going to the settings page. So now that should be properly set up here. And let me just here we go. Now we could see that it's set up properly. We have our menu, our banner, and we got about and settings. In the about, you can see here we still see that menu option. It's not moving. We go back, settings has that menu still. But you see we're on different pages, and the route, you can see we only see the word settings for settings page, about page. So the reason why we want to have here the routes folders, because maybe we want to organize all of the different pages into one folder so it's not all at the root of the SRC, and it just makes it look a lot nicer. And we put these brackets around this folder called routes because then we're not going to see that word route in the actual URL pathway. So let's take a look at what this application actually looks like right now. So I'm just going to end this. I'm going to restart it just so we could get a fresh start here. So right over here you can see that we have that count showing up, and when we click increment you can see it going up by 1 each time, decrement going down by 1 each time, reset goes back to 0, and it always has those 2 decimal places. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do the language translation. And the language translation, I'm going to make a new folder in SRC, and I'm going to name it I_I18N. And then inside here, I'll make a new file and make it I18n.ts. And what I'm going to be doing next is I'm going to also make a locales folder, and I'll make it a locales folder. And inside the I18n, right here, I18n.ts, I'm gonna set up some translation. So right here, let me go up here. I'm gonna set up, I have to install I18n next. So let me go to my terminal and install a few of these things here and what's running, and then I'm going to install React I18 next, and you can see those red arrows go away because we installed I18n now into the project. Now I'm going to set up the files inside the locales folder, and I'm going to call it en.json, and then here it'll be fr.json for French, because I'm just going to do English and French for this example. And inside our locales, we're going to, let's do the English first. So I just put a welcome and description here. And then in our French, we're going to just add the French translation. So whenever you set it up, you want to make sure that, yes, this keys will always be the same. So the keys here from the French will be the same as the keys here in the English. And you can see here the keys are always the same language because they have to match exactly. But the values here can be anything you want because we have to be able to translate it. And now what we're going to be doing is, if we go back to the I18, you can see here the red goes away here. We got for French, we got for English. And now you can see here it's going to start using I18n to help with this translation part, and this is just a standard in how you set up I18n in the application. And now what we're going to be doing is we're going to go back to our app.tsx here, and we're going to have to import at the top here the use translation and the I18n, and I'm going to then use these values in my application under this use counter that we imported. In our application, we're going to set up some values here for constants for translation, the use state. We're going to start initially with English translation, and then here this is a method here that will help us switch and change between the languages whenever we click on a button in order to set the language. And to do that, let's go down here. I'm going to put it under the banner, and I will put it right here. So we have right here. I'm going to make this one a H2. There we go. I'll make this welcome a H1, the description a paragraph tag, and here we got the 2 buttons. So whenever someone clicks on the English button, it will then make sure that this change language is English, and whenever it's set to English, then it's going to use the translation from our I18n here. it's going to translate whatever it needs to, but whenever it does, it's going to say here the welcome or description, whichever one it comes from. So the welcome here is for here, it's targeting the welcome key here. And then here in the paragraph, it's targeting the description key. So here, when we click now with French, it's going to be able to toggle over and change to the French language. So now let's try running this and let's see what this application looks like. So npm start. Alright, so we got an error here, so let's see what exactly is going on here. We got some sort of error with the i18n. Let's take a look here. Okay, so let's go into our i18n, and so we got import i18n. Okay, so I'm going to install the loader. So right here in the terminal, I'll end that, and then I want to paste this, install JSON loader, npm run clean. Okay, let's just do npm start. Okay, so it's still giving that error. I'm going to delete this export right there. src locals fr. Oh, I think I just didn't save the file. Make sure you save the text. I forgot to save this stuff here. So once you saved all the files properly, now you'll be able to see welcome to our application. This is simple example language. It's from the English text. And if I click on French now, you can see that it translates to the French. Go back to English. I go back to English, and then French, English, French, English. Perfect. So now let's add one last thing. Let's add our actual unit tests. So what we're going to be doing is let's set up a test folder here in the src. So I'll make a folder __ tests __, and I'm going to actually be dragging this app. The app.test, yeah, I'm going to drag this app.test.tsx in here. Yes, I'll move it. I just like to put all the tests in one area. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be testing the different routes that people can go to. So let's say I'm just going to paste it all in here. So app.test.tsx, I'll replace it with my code. And just so we could take a look here. So we're just using the test library React. We're going to be using the components or pages, app, about, and settings. And here we're describing it. Describing just means putting all the blocks of code. So here's one block of code of it. So it is just like one block of code. So we have 1, 2, and 3 blocks of code that are grouped into this describe. So it's just a way of grouping things, and it's all based on routing. And what this first one is going to be doing is it's going to be checking to see if this home page, it's going to go to navigate to that one with the route of that path. It's going to go to the app, and it's going to expect to see some sort of text of hello somewhere in the document. And this is going to be a problem because I did not add that in yet. So let's go to this. Actually, let's just run it first so I could show you. So I will be using the npm test. So I'll just go back here in my README folder. I'll just write npm test, and I'll also actually write a few of these other things here. There we go. And then I will go back to, actually I'll go to terminal, open up a new terminal by clicking the plus, and I'll do npm test here now. And this, I believe all of them will fail. I haven't read the other two right now, but the first one will definitely fail because we don't have that word hello. So let's see here. Okay. So here app failed. Just was able to find, okay. App. Okay, I think we just are missing something here. So let me go to just double check. About settings, React utils depreciated. Okay. Okay, so it does work for the two other tests. It's just the home route you could see here. For that home page, the home page is having issues because we don't have that word hello. So what I'm going to be doing is, let's go back up here. All it needs is that text hello. So in our app.tsx, I will just add a paragraph somewhere here. Let's say after this language translation, hello. And now I will try running it one more time. Alright, so here, let's see what's going on. Hello. Renders the app component on the home route. Could be because the text is broken. Okay, I think we just need to end this. Let's try ending this and then make sure I save all the pages properly. And I'm just going to first end the application, rerun the application. And actually one more thing, actually I forgot, is I'm just going to make another test here, and it'll be index.test.tsx, and this is where I'm just going to be testing if something has the word settings in it. So here I'm importing all the pages again. And here's just a quick little overview of the code, in case you couldn't see it. But here we got in our index.test our routes for the 3 different pages. It's just gonna check to see if we can go to the settings page, and it's gonna look for the settings text to be in the document. And then in the app.test, again, where the first it in the describe is just routing to the home page. That's the app. And then looking for the word hello inside. And then the next it's going to be going to the about page. And when it goes to that route, it'll find it, it'll go to the about page, and it'll look for the text about. And then here for the last one, we're going to route to the settings page here as well. And it's going to look for settings, go to that settings page, and look for that word settings. And now when we want to do these tests, we have to remember we have to do npm start first, make sure the app is started first. And then once the application has started, then we can actually do the test afterwards. So here it's starting up, perfect. We can click this plus icon if you haven't already had another terminal open. And we can do npm test now. So we're going to have two different terminals open. One is running the actual application. The other one is running the actual tests. And you can see here that there's no red. That means we've passed all of the different tests in our application. So I'm just going to rerun this one more time here, and we could see here when I rerun it, I'll end it and I'll do npm test. Make sure your application is running first, so npm run, and then run your test afterwards, and making sure that once you run the test that you check that you see all the green check marks. And you can see here that everything is green, there's no red. That means we passed all the tests and it's ready to go. So this is our application. We set up our tests. We have some sort of layout with our main application. We have the language translation between English and French using i18n. We're using hooks and utils and reusable components. If we go to our application online here, then you'll see here at the top we have our menu at the top, which is in the About page. It's also in the Settings page here. And then here we got our English text. We translate it to French. We can go back and forth between the two. And then here for our counter, we're using increment, decrement, and reset. And these are all using those reusable methods or functions. And here, of course, we're formatting the number. So this is a really great example on this entire application is very simple, but is very powerful when you're creating large applications. So hopefully these small little tips based on this really basic example can help you out with your application.